Admiral Jack Cooper's weathered fingers traced the edge of his daughter's photo on his desk, his jaw clenched as he watched the holographic display of the solar system. The Zextheri Cultural Exchange Vessel, the 7th this month, was systematically stripping another nickel-iron asteroid in the belt, its quantum phase beam carved through the rock with surgical precision, leaving nothing but debris in its wake. "Computer, magnify Sector 47 Beta," he commanded, his voice steady despite the rage simmering beneath. The hologram zoomed in, revealing the alien vessel's true nature. What they claimed was atmospheric sampling equipment bore an unmistakable resemblance to weapon hardpoints. Cooper had seen enough warships in his 30 years of service to recognize one, no matter how well disguised. A soft chime announced the arrival of his aide, Lieutenant Jessica Hayes. Her usually composed features were tight with concern as she placed a quantum-encrypted tablet on his desk. "Sir, the analysis from Deep Space Intelligence just came in. You need to see this." Cooper's hand hovered over the tablet, his reflection in its obsidian surface, showing a man who'd aged decades in the past month. He pressed his thumb to the biometric scanner, and pages of data materialized in the air above it. "They didn't even bother hiding it well," he muttered, scrolling through the files. "Arrogant bastards." The document was clinical, sterile in its documentation of Subject 23 to 47. Emily Cooper, age 16. His daughter's genetic profile was laid bare, annotated with Zextheri scientific notes about her exceptional adaptability markers and potential for experimental enhancement. "There's more, sir," Hayes said softly. "We've identified similar files for over 300 other human children, all of them related to high-ranking military or government officials." Cooper stood, walking to the panoramic window that overlooked the lunar surface. Earth hung in the black sky like a blue jewel, seemingly peaceful from this distance. 20 years of playing nice with the Galactic Council, of restraining humanity's natural strengths to appear civilized by their standards. 20 years of watching their resources disappear into alien cargo holds under the guise of cultural exchange. "Get me a secure line to the Joint Chiefs," he ordered, turning back to Hayes, "and contact Director Matthews at the CIA. It's time we compared notes." "Sir," Hayes hesitated. "Are we finally?" "Yes, Lieutenant. We're done playing nice." Cooper's reflection in the window showed a grim smile. "Contact our sleeper cells in the diplomatic corps. Tell them to maintain their cover, but begin implementing Protocol Nightshade." As Hayes hurried out, Cooper picked up his daughter's photo again. Emily smiled back at him, unaware that she'd become the catalyst for what was about to unfold. The Zextheri and their Galactic Council allies had made a fatal mistake. They'd studied humanity's weapons, analyzed their tactics, and prepared countermeasures for everything they'd seen. But they'd missed the most dangerous aspect of these Deathworlders they'd been trying to domesticate. Humans were at their most lethal when protecting their young. Cooper opened his desk drawer and removed a small quantum key, the kind that could activate dormant programs hidden in supposedly peaceful human technology exported across the galaxy over the past 2 decades. The Galactic Council thought they were integrating advanced human manufacturing into their infrastructure. They hadn't realized every piece of equipment was a Trojan horse, waiting for the signal. "Computer, initiate countdown for Operation Looking Glass," he commanded. "Authorization Cooper, Alpha 7 Delta 9er. Operation Looking Glass initiated," the AI responded. "Time to full network activation. 30 days. Cooper sat back in his chair, watching the Zextheri ship continue its mining operation, blissfully unaware that humanity's patience had finally run out. Soon, they would learn why Earth was classified as a death world, and why its inhabitants had survived everything their harsh planet had thrown at them for millions of years. The facade was about to shatter, and with it, the galaxy's illusion of superiority over the primitive humans they'd underestimated for far too long. Lieutenant Commander Ashley Martinez leaned closer to her quantum display, her eyes narrowing at the anomalous readings from Deep Space Array 7. The massive radio telescope complex, hidden beneath Europa's ice, had picked up something odd in the Oort cloud, gravitational distortions that shouldn't exist naturally. "Run it again, Aria," she commanded the station's eye. "Filter out all known celestial bodies and focus on those quantum fluctuations." The holographic display shifted, showing thousands of pinpricks of light where space-time itself was being warped. To the untrained eye, it might have looked like standard cosmic background radiation. But Martinez hadn't spent 6 years developing humanity's quantum detection systems to be fooled by alien stealth tech. "Ma'am," her second-in-command, Lieutenant Ryan Chen, called from his station. "We're getting similar readings from arrays 3 and 5. Whatever's out there, it's big, and it's trying very hard not to be seen." Martinez pulled up the combined data from all 3 arrays. The pattern was unmistakable. A fleet, and a massive one at that. The Zextheri thought their quantum phase cloaking technology was undetectable. They hadn't counted on humanity's paranoid nature, or their habit of preparing for threats that didn't yet exist. "Get me a secure line to Luna Command," she ordered, already drafting the report in her head. Priority Alpha. The face that appeared on her screen wasn't Admiral Cooper's, but rather General Marcus Reynolds of Special Operations Command. His expression was grim. "Let me guess, Commander. You found our party guests arriving early." Martinez blinked in surprise. "Sir, you knew they were coming." "We've known for months." Admiral Cooper's Operation Looking Glass gave us access to their entire command network. Reynolds' lips curled into a predatory smile. "What we needed was confirmation of their approach vector, and now you've given it to us." The implications hit Martinez like a physical blow. The massive fleet she'd detected wasn't just an invasion force. It was the bait in humanity's trap. "Sir, these readings suggest at least 300 capital ships, maybe more. The combined Earth Defense Fleet couldn't stand against such odds." Reynolds interrupted. "Commander, who said anything about the defense fleet? While our alien friends have been watching our obvious military assets, they've completely ignored the civilian shipping lanes. Amazing how many mining vessels and research ships have been quietly moving into position over the past year." Martinez felt a chill run down her spine. The aliens had studied human military doctrine, but they'd forgotten something crucial. Humans had perfected the art of asymmetrical warfare millennia ago. "Your new orders," Reynolds continued, "are to maintain surveillance but allow some signal leakage. Let them think they're fooling us. Meanwhile, I'm transferring operational control of arrays 2 through 9 to your station. You'll be coordinating the real-time targeting data when everything kicks off." Understanding dawned. "The arrays aren't just for detection, are they, sir?" "Commander, did you really think we spent trillions building the largest radio telescope array in human history just to look at stars?" Reynolds' smile widened. "Those dishes can focus a hell of a lot more than just radio waves, especially when combined with certain quantum technologies we've been pretending we haven't mastered yet." As the general's image faded, Martinez turned back to her display. She began recalibrating the arrays, revealing their true nature as the largest weapons platform ever constructed by human hands. Hidden in plain sight, disguised as scientific instruments, they were just one part of humanity's vast preparation for this moment. "Lieutenant Chen," she called out, "begin charging the quantum capacitors. Slowly. We don't want to show our hand too early." As her crew worked, Martinez thought about the Zextheri fleet approaching with such confidence. They thought they were hunting sheep, protected by their superior technology and the Galactic Council's regulations. They were about to learn that humanity hadn't survived on a death world by being sheep. They'd survived by being wolves in sheep's clothing, waiting for the right moment to bare their fangs. And that moment was finally approaching. Captain Mike "Ghost" Sullivan watched the tactical display aboard the U.S. Thermopyla with predatory focus. His ship, outwardly a civilian mining vessel, floated silently in the Kuiper Belt alongside 300 other commercial craft. The quantum absorption coating on their hulls didn't just hide them from sight. It made them invisible to every detection method the Galactic Council had ever developed. "Status report," he whispered, though sound couldn't travel in space. "Old habits died hard. Zextheri fleet is fully committed to the attack on the orbital defense grid, sir," Lieutenant Sarah Rodriguez reported from Tactical. "They're taking the bait. Every single decoy station is broadcasting fake distress calls exactly as programmed." Sullivan allowed himself a grim smile. The orbital defense grid had been humanity's masterpiece of deception. For 20 years, they'd made a show of building and maintaining these stations, ensuring every alien ambassador and spy got a good look at their primitive defensive capabilities. "Targeting solutions?" he asked, studying the holographic display showing the Zextheri fleet's formation. They'd arranged themselves in a classic Pincer 7 attack pattern, exactly as predicted. "Martinez's arrays are feeding us real-time data, sir," Rodriguez confirmed. "All ships in Battle Group 4 are synchronized. We can hit their entire command and control structure in the first salvo." Sullivan touched the neural interface at the base of his skull, connecting directly to the Thermopila's tactical network. The ship's AI merged with his consciousness, showing him the battlefield from 1,000 different angles simultaneously. Each mining vessel in his fleet carried enough firepower to level a small continent, their holds packed not with ore processing equipment, but with weapons that humanity had pretended were still theoretical. "Signal from Luna Command," his XO, Commander James Wilson, announced. Message reads, "Leonidas, the hot gates are open." Sullivan's smile widened. Humanity had chosen their moment well. The Zextheri fleet was fully engaged with the decoy stations, their ship's sensors blinded by the massive energy signatures of their own weapons fire. They were so focused on their victory that they failed to notice the quantum fluctuations beginning to build throughout the Kuiper Belt. "All ships, this is Ghost," Sullivan broadcasted on the encrypted fleet channel. "Execute Operation Thunderbolt. Weapons free. I say again, weapons free." 300 ships dropped their civilian disguises simultaneously. Armored panels slid aside, revealing banks of weapons that weren't supposed to exist. Quantum capacitors, charged over months of waiting, reached critical mass. The trap was ready. "Sir," Rodriguez called out, her voice tight with anticipation, detecting high-energy signatures from Martinez's arrays. "They're beginning their attack run." Sullivan nodded, watching the tactical display update in real time through his neural link. The radio telescope arrays, now revealed as the massive weapon platforms they truly were, began focusing concentrated beams of quantum energy at specific points in space. The beams weren't weapons themselves. They were opening windows for Sullivan's fleet to exploit. "All ships, time on target barrage," he ordered. "Fire on my mark." The Zextheri continued their celebration, believing they had crushed Earth's primary defenses. Their sensors registered the quantum distortions too late to matter. By the time their tactical officers realized something was wrong, humanity had already sprung their trap. Mark. 300 ships fired as one, their weapons synchronized through quantum entanglement. The array's energy beams had created momentary weaknesses in spacetime itself, holes in reality that Sullivan's fleet exploited with brutal efficiency. Their shots didn't have to travel through space. They simply appeared inside the Zextheri ship shields, bypassing their defenses completely. The alien fleet's formation dissolved into chaos. Ships began exploding from within as human weapons materialized in their engineering sections, their bridges, their ammunition magazines. 20 years of playing technological catch-up had been a lie. Humanity hadn't been trying to match alien technology. They'd been developing ways to render it obsolete. "Second salvo, prepare to fire," Sullivan ordered, watching the devastation unfold. "Let's show these Deathworlders what real predators look like." The battle for Earth's solar system had begun, and humanity's wolves were finally baring their teeth. Colonel Emma Wraith Thompson stood in the drop bay of her assault shuttle, surrounded by 24 Marines in HFY Predator combat suits. The neural interfaces at their bases of their skulls pulsed with soft blue light, connecting each soldier to their armor's quantum-enhanced systems. The Galactic Council had always assumed humanity's powered armor projects had failed. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Target lock confirmed, the shuttle's AI announced. Zextheri command carrier shields at 17% and failing. Thompson grinned inside her helmet. You hear that, hellhounds? Time to show these aliens why Earth's gravity well made us different. She switched to the squad channel. Remember your training. They've never fought real Deathworlders before. The shuttle's internal gravity cut out as they approached their target. Any other species would have been disoriented. But these were Earth's children, born in a gravity well 3 times stronger than most civilized worlds. They'd trained for this their entire lives. Impact in 5, the AI warned. Breaching charges armed. Thompson watched through her neural feed as Sullivan's fleet continued their devastating assault. The Zextheri command carrier loomed ahead, its once proud shields flickering under sustained quantum bombardment. The alien crew probably thought they were safe inside their armored hull. They had no idea what was coming. 3, 2, 1. Breach. The shuttle's quantum torpedoes punched through the weakened shields, creating a circular hole in the carrier's hull. Before the emergency force fields could engage, Thompson's squad was already moving. They launched themselves through the breach at speeds that would have killed any other species, their enhanced muscles and reinforced bones handling forces that would crush normal humans. First blood. Private Rodriguez called out as his quantum blade carved through a Zextheri security drone. These things are slower than the training sims. Thompson landed in a roll, her armor systems automatically compensating for the carrier's artificial gravity. Through her neural link, she watched as her squad spread out in perfect formation, each movement coordinated with inhuman precision. The Zextheri crew, encountering human ground forces for the first time, didn't stand a chance. Bridge is 2 decks up, her XO, Lieutenant Carson, reported. They're trying to lock down the quantum cores. Too late for that, Thompson replied, launching herself up a maintenance shaft. Her armor's grav manipulators let her ignore the ship's orientation entirely, running on walls and ceilings as needed. Wraith to Ghost, we're proceeding to Phase 2. Captain Sullivan's voice crackled through the quantum comm. Copy that. Wraith, show them why humans don't need genetic engineering to be apex predators. The Zextheri had sealed the bridge behind blast doors, rated to stop capital ship weapons. Thompson almost felt sorry for them as she pulled a device from her tactical webbing. Another failed human project that was anything but failed. The quantum phase shifter activated with a soft hum, creating a bubble of altered spacetime around her squad. Remember, she warned her team, we've got 30 seconds before the shifter burns out. Make them count. They walked through the solid metal as if it wasn't there, their quantum-shifted forms passing through matter itself. The Zextheri bridge crew's expressions of shock would have been comical if the situation weren't so serious. Their mandibles clicked in alarm as 24 heavily armed humans materialized inside their supposedly secure command center. This is Colonel Thompson of the Earth Defense Force, she announced as her squad secured the bridge. Your ship is now under human control. I suggest you comply. The Zextheri captain, his iridescent scales dulled with fear, stared at her in disbelief. Impossible, he chittered. Your species, you were contained, controlled. The Council assured us. The Council, Thompson interrupted, made the mistake of thinking they could tame Deathworlders. We played along because it suited us. That time is over. Through the bridge's view screen, she watched as more human assault shuttles breached other Zextheri vessels. Each carried a squad of Marines, each Marine a product of the harshest gravity well in civilized space, enhanced by technology their enemies had dismissed as primitive. The truth about humanity was finally being revealed. and the galaxy would never be the same. General James "Thunderbolt" Rodriguez stood before the quantum-encrypted holographic projectors in Earth's secure bunker beneath the Mariana Trench. 3 alien faces stared back at him, each from species the Galactic Council had tried to domesticate, just as they had attempted with humanity. "The Zextheri fleet has been neutralized," Rodriguez announced, his scarred face illuminated by the blue glow of the holograms. "Earth's solar system is secure. Now, my fellow Deathworlders, it's your turn to show them what you can do." The Drachnid representative, Supreme Commander Kthax, shifted his crystalline form. Light refracted through his silicon-based body as he spoke. "My people have waited centuries for this moment. Our ships are ready, hidden in the plasma storms of our binary star system." "The Soren Pride stands with Earth," growled Matriarch Farail, her feline features fierce with anticipation. "Our hunting packs have already infiltrated the Council's primary shipyards. We remember how they tried to cure us of our predatory instincts." The third figure, a shimmering cloud of interconnected consciousness representing the Terravore Collective, pulsed with barely contained energy. "The Hive remembers the attempts to fragment our unity. We have positioned our spawn throughout their neural networks. When the signal comes, their entire computational infrastructure will be consumed." Rodriguez allowed himself a grim smile. The Council had been so focused on controlling Earth that they'd forgotten about the other species they'd classified as dangerous. Each Deathworld species had evolved under conditions that would kill most sentient life. Each had been forced to hide their true nature, just as humanity had. "TEMS, show them the tactical overlay," Rodriguez commanded. The AI compiled real-time data from across the galaxy, displaying thousands of hidden ships, sleeper agents, and combat units ready to strike. Humanity had spent years quietly coordinating with their fellow Deathworlders, building an alliance the Council never saw coming. "The Council's main fleet is moving to contain the Earth Rebellion," Kthax observed, his crystalline form sparkling with amusement. "They still think this is a single-species uprising." "Let them come," Vuriel purred, her claws extending unconsciously. "The Soren Pride remembers the old ways of hunt and ambush. Their predictable tactics will be their undoing." The Terravore Collective pulsed faster. Their arrogance blinds them. They believe their technology makes them superior. They forget that evolution forged us in crucibles they cannot imagine. Rodriguez touched a control panel, bringing up detailed battle plans developed over years of secret cooperation. "Humanity's quantum breakthrough wasn't just technological," he explained. "We found a way to synchronize our attacks across light years without relying on their monitored FTL communications. Each species had its role. The Drachnid would emerge from their stellar hiding places, their crystalline ships immune to energy weapons. The Soren Pride stealth packs would strike at key infrastructure, using hunting techniques perfected over millions of years. The Terravore Collective would consume and repurpose the Council's own computer networks against them. And humanity, they would show the galaxy why Earth was considered the most dangerous Deathworld of all." "Strike Package Alpha is authorized," Rodriguez declared, sending the encrypted signal that would trigger simultaneous attacks across 1,000 light-years. "Remember, we're not fighting for revenge. We're fighting for the right to be what evolution made us." The holograms nodded in agreement. Each species had suffered under the Council's attempts to civilize them. Each had been forced to hide their strengths, to pretend to be less than they were. That era was ending. "One final thing," Rodriguez added, his voice carrying the weight of command. "When we win, and we will win, we show them a better way. We prove that being a Deathworlder means more than just surviving. It means thriving, adapting, and building something stronger than they ever imagined possible." As the transmission ended, Rodriguez watched the tactical display light up with thousands of simultaneous attacks. The Deathworlder Alliance was revealing itself, and the galaxy would never be the same. The revolution hadn't just begun. It had been centuries in the making, and now it was unstoppable. Commander Diana Phoenix Walker stood at the helm of the U.S. Hyperion, her neural interface streaming tactical data directly into her consciousness. The Council's defensive line stretched before her, a supposedly impenetrable wall of automated defense platforms, minefields, and patrol fleets protecting their core worlds. "Status on the gravity corridor calculations," she asked, her eyes fixed on the binary star system ahead. The twin stars danced their ancient orbital ballet, creating a maze of gravitational shear zones that the Council considered naturally impassable. "Quantum computing has mapped all possible routes," her co-pilot, Aegeus, responded. "Warning, even with inertial dampeners, crew survival probability is only 72.3%. Walker smiled. "Better odds than my last divorce." "Battle Group Chimera, this is Phoenix. Prepare for combat pattern Omega. We're about to show them why humans love roller coasters." The response came from 20 ships hidden in her wake, each commanded by pilots chosen for their abnormal tolerance for G-forces. The Council races, evolved in stable star systems, couldn't handle more than 3 to 4 Gs. Humans had been pulling 9 grams turns in atmospheric fighters for centuries. "Ready on your mark, Phoenix," Captain Sarah Valkyrie, Chen's voice crackled through the quantum comm. "The Drachnid fleet has their attention at the Arcturus checkpoint. They'll never see us coming." Walker's neural link highlighted the gravitational eddies between the binary stars, a chaotic mess of forces that would tear normal ships apart. But these weren't normal ships. The Hyperion and its sister vessels had been built in secret, designed specifically for this kind of insane maneuver. "AGGs, initiate attack protocol." "Suicide King," Walker commanded. "All ships, follow my exact course. Deviation of more than 0.3 seconds means death." Her ship dove into the gravity well, its quantum-reinforced hull groaning under forces that should have crushed it. The Council's sensors would be useless here. The gravitational distortions created a natural stealth field better than any technology. First shear zone in 3, 2, 1. The Hyperion rolled and pitched as competing gravitational forces tried to tear it apart. Walker's consciousness merged deeper with her ship's systems, her enhanced reflexes making split-second corrections. Normal pilots would have blacked out from the G-forces. Her crew, strapped into acceleration couches filled with liquid shock gel, held on as their ship performed maneuvers that violated what the Council considered possible. Drachnid fleet reporting heavy Council engagement. Aegila is updated. The Sorin Pride has begun their strikes on their shipyards. Terravore infection of their networks is at 47% and climbing. Walker barely heard the report, her mind consumed with navigating the impossible. The Hyperion threaded between gravity wells like a needle through quantum foam, leading her battle group through a dance of death and physics. "Final approach," she announced, her voice strained. "Prepare quantum torpedoes. Target data is being fed to your weapons officers now." They burst from the binary star's gravity well directly behind the Council's defensive line. Their enemy ships, arranged in perfect formation to defend against attacks from the expected vectors, had their backs completely exposed. "This is Phoenix," Walker transmitted on all frequencies. "Surprise, motherfuckers." 21 ships opened fire simultaneously, their quantum torpedoes enhanced by the gravitational energies they'd absorbed during their insane approach. The Council's rear guard died before they even realized they were under attack. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta 7, Walker ordered, watching as their quantum weapons carved through the Council's formations. "Push forward to the designated coordinates. The Terravores have almost finished subverting their targeting systems." The Council fleet tried to turn and engage, but centuries of doctrine had left them predictable. They couldn't comprehend ships moving through impossible spaces, couldn't adapt to an enemy that ignored the basic rules of space combat. "This is Phoenix to General Rodriguez," Walker reported as her battle group tore through the enemy's lines. "The back door is open. Send in the main fleet. Let's show them why you don't cage predators and expect them to forget how to hunt." The battle for the Council's core worlds had begun, and humanity was teaching the galaxy a lesson about the true meaning of impossible. Admiral Jack Cooper stood in the Council's grand chamber, now scared by battle damage and stripped of its ornate pretense. The massive quantum shields that had protected this sanctum for millennia lay shattered, broken by technologies the Council had dismissed as theoretical. Behind him stood representatives from each Deathworld species, no longer suppliants, but equals. "You've made your point, Admiral," High Counselor Zexnar rasped, his ornate robes torn and stained. "Your coalition has demonstrated impressive capabilities. Name your terms for withdrawal." Cooper's laugh echoed through the chamber. "Withdrawal? You still don't understand. We're not here to conquer. We're here to fix what's broken." He activated a holographic display, showing the devastation their precise strikes had caused. "Notice what you don't see. Civilian casualties, destroyed habitation domes, ruined ecosystems." The Council members shifted uncomfortably. Even in victory, the Deathworlders had shown restraint. Surgical strikes against military and political targets only. It wasn't the behavior they'd expected from savage species. "Your civilization is built on a lie," Cooper continued, pacing before the Council's raised seats. "The lie that evolution can be denied. That species who evolved in harsh conditions need to be civilized and controlled." He gestured to his allies. "Look at us, really look." Thax's crystalline form sparkled as he stepped forward. "The Drachnid evolved in storms that would shatter your bones. We learned to become living crystal, to bend light and energy to our will. You called it dangerous natural weaponry, and tried to force us to calcify into weaker forms." Viriel of the Soren Pride flexed her claws. "Our hunting instincts let us see patterns you miss, anticipate threats you ignore. Instead of using our gifts, you drugged our young to dull their senses." The Terravore Collective pulsed with controlled anger. "Our neural networks adapt and evolve at speeds your biological minds cannot comprehend. You feared our potential for growth and tried to fragment our consciousness." Cooper nodded to each in turn. "And humanity. We evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day. High gravity, extreme temperatures, natural disasters, predators, diseases. We survived it all. Not by becoming less, but by becoming more." He touched a control panel, and the holographic display shifted to show new images. Drachnid crystal tech merging with human quantum physics, Soren hunting algorithms enhancing space combat tactics, Terravore processing power revolutionizing FTL calculations. "Here are our terms," Cooper declared. "First, the Council will be reformed. Every species gets equal representation, judged by their actions, not their evolutionary history. Second, all restrictions on dangerous natural abilities are lifted. Third, a new committee is formed, with representatives from all species, to oversee technological development." High Counselor Zexnar's mandibles clicked in surprise. "You're not demanding reparations, territory, resources. We're demanding something more valuable," Cooper replied. "The right for every species to be what they truly are, to contribute their unique strengths to the galaxy's advancement." His eyes hardened. "And a guarantee that no one will ever again try to suppress evolution itself." The Council chamber erupted in discussion. Some members protested, others saw the wisdom in Cooper's words. Through it all, the Deathworlders stood united, their very presence a testament to the strength that came from embracing their nature rather than denying it. "One last thing," Cooper added, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Emily Cooper, Subject 23 to 47 in your genetics program. Her and every other research subject will be returned immediately. Or we can demonstrate more of humanity's evolution-given talents for warfare." As the Council began drafting the formal surrender documents, Cooper shared a knowing look with his fellow Deathworlders. They had won not just through force of arms, but by proving that being uncivilized, by Council standards, wasn't a weakness. It was their greatest strength. The galaxy was about to learn what real civilization looked like when every species was free to reach their full potential. 10 years after the revolution, Lieutenant Commander Ashley Martinez, now Fleet Admiral, stood at the observation deck of Harmony Station, watching ships from 30 different species conduct joint exercises near Jupiter's orbit. The massive space station, built through a collaboration of all former Deathworld species, served as both a symbol and command center for the new Galactic Alliance. Status report on the Drachnid human quantum crystal drive tests, she asked, her neural interface connecting her to the station's AI network. Test Flight 17 successful. Admiral, reported Captain Emily Cooper, her former mentor's daughter now grown into a formidable officer herself. The crystalline matrix enhanced our quantum field generation by 300%. We're looking at FTL speeds previously thought impossible. Martinez smiled, remembering the days when humanity had pretended such technology was beyond their grasp. The observation deck's windows automatically polarized as a Soren Pride hunting pack practiced their new combat maneuvers, their ships moving with a fluid grace that mimicked their evolutionary hunting patterns. "Your father would be proud," Martine said to Emily. Admiral Cooper hadn't lived to see all the changes his revolution brought about, sacrificing himself during the final push to free the suppressed species across the galaxy. But his legacy lived on in every collaborative project, every new discovery, every barrier broken. A soft chime announced the arrival of Supreme Commander Cthax, his crystalline form now incorporating elements of human quantum technology. "The Council representatives have arrived for the 10th anniversary ceremony," he announced. "Many of them still seem uncomfortable." "Let them be," Martines replied. "Discomfort breeds adaptation. We learned that on Earth long ago." The station's main hangar displayed the fruits of their combined evolution. Drachnid crystal ships with human quantum drives, their hulls housing Soren Pride hunting sensors. Terravore neural networks managing traffic control with efficiency that bordered on precognition. Species that the old council had tried to suppress were now pushing the boundaries of what was possible. "Next month's agenda?" Martines asked, turning from the window. Emily brought up a holographic display. The Terravore Collective has proposed integrating their neural networks with Drachnid crystal computing. The Soren Pride wants to adapt their hunting algorithms for deep space exploration. 3 new species have petitioned for membership in the Alliance, all from what the old council classified as dangerous worlds. "Approve them all," Martines ordered, "and send them our standard welcome package. Complete technological sharing, cultural exchange, and military cooperation. No more hiding who we are, or what we can do." Cthax's crystalline form flickered with amusement. "The old council members still don't understand how we achieved in 10 years what they couldn't in 1,000. Because they never understood the real lesson of evolution," Emily said, watching a group of young cadets, human, Drachnid, Soren, and others, training together in the station's zero combat chamber. "Strength doesn't come from suppressing differences. It comes from embracing them." Martinez touched the quantum memorial near the window, its crystal surface showing images of those lost in the revolution, including Admiral Cooper. The inscription read, "To those who died so others could live free to evolve." "Send word to the fleet," she commanded. "Tonight we celebrate how far we've come. Tomorrow we push further. There are still worlds out there, still species being told to be less than what evolution made them." As the sun set behind Jupiter's massive form, Martinez watched ships of all species moving in harmony through space. The Terravore networks synchronized their movements. Soren Pride tactics guided their formations. Drachnid crystal tech powered their engines, and human innovation tied it all together. They had created something unprecedented, a civilization that celebrated the very differences the old council had feared. Every species was free to be what evolution had made them, to contribute their unique strengths to the greater whole. The Deathworlders had stopped playing nice, and in doing so, they had built something far greater than the council ever imagined possible. A future where strength came not from conformity, but from the magnificent diversity of life itself. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly how it should be.